Greetings, fellow Get-to-Lalians. Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new guitar tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about the 2-5 progression. 2-5 refers to the number of the scale that the chord corresponds with that we're talking about in a chord progression, 2 being the second chord of the key, and 5 being the fifth chord of the key. So if we're in the key of C, we're talking about C being 1, D minor being 2, E minor being 3, F being 4, G being 5, and then we have A minor being 6, B diminished being 7, and then C being 8, or 1 again. And so 2 in the key of C is D minor, or D minor 7, or any variations of that, but basically D minor. And then 5 is G, or G7, or G9, or any variations of that. So what we're talking about are 2 very specific chords of a given key. And that song I was playing, that was called Saw the Light, or I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren, great artist from the 70s. Notice I'm wearing my 70s shirt today. I've got my kind of 70s style folk guitar here. So it's a very 70s show we have going on here today. And a lot of these songs that use 2-5-1 progressions came from the 70s. We'll talk about Pink Floyd songs and Santana songs and things like that that actually are Carole King right out of the 70s. So I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren, it uses a 2-5 for the main crux of the song. It's a D minor chord in the key of C. He does do this in D minor, although I found that the tuning on that particular record is a little bit flat. So for some reason they decided not to be exactly in tune to A440. So it's D minor, but it's like a little flat. But anyway, that's just a minor technicality. We won't get bogged down in that. D minor is the 2 chord. He uses that as the first chord of the song. And G is the 5 chord, the second chord of the song, and he vamps on that. He plays those chords repeatedly. I believe he does it 3 times. Then it resolves to the 1 chord, a very 70s C major 7 chord. So I'm going to not show you all these chords today. What I'm going to do instead is make a link down below, and you can click on it and get chord diagrams, PDF files, and all kinds of links to these songs if you want to access these songs and check them out in all their 70s glory. So yeah, D minor to G to C, that's known as a 2-5-1. One of the most fundamental chord progressions in all popular music. It's in a lot of classical music too. So that I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren starts with that, a 2-5-1. And then he makes that C chord eventually get into the C7 chord. And that brings you to a new kind of place in the tune. And that would be an F chord. C7 goes really nice into F. So if you're studying songwriting, you're studying harmony, you're getting your feet wet into theory, this is great stuff to study, these pop songs from the 70s. They have all those elements in them that you would need to learn about in a textbook anyway, but in a more real-life situation as opposed to just reading about the theory on paper. So I like to use these songs to illustrate this stuff. We could be talking about the Beatles or any number of people, Stevie Wonder, but today I chose that song, I Saw the Light. So let's learn the song. It's D minor to G 3 times. Resolves to C, or you could do C major 7. You could even do C to A minor, C to A minor 7. There's a lot of variations, but let's just call it, let's simplify it and say D minor to G to C. Later in the song, after he does C7, that leads to an F major 7 chord, an E minor or E minor 7, A minor to D7. That's a series of 2-5s right there. That A minor to D7 is 2-5, but that would be in the key of G. So temporarily, Todd Rundgren takes his song in the key of C and for just momentarily puts it in the key of G. But then he gets back to the key of C by finishing the whole form of the song on D minor to G to C major 7 to F major 7. 2-5-1-4.